I would have started this business 10 or 20 years ago if I had just put my mind to it. I treasure all those adventures that we had with him. You need to stay on that path and ride it out. Sometimes good things come to those who wait, and you don't even realize that it's going to be there waiting for you.
Today, we have an incredible guest joining us, a woman who's making waves in the snowmobile industry. As a snowmobile travel agent serving Maine, Sandy combines her passion for riding with her expertise in trip planning to help others experience epic adventures on the trails. Not only does Sandy share a ton of tips with you, but she also shares her journey and stories on the snow. Let's jump in. All right, and we are recording. So hey, hi, and hello. I'm Angelisa, your host for Braap Babe's Throttle Talk, and I'm so excited to be sitting down with Sandy from Go Northeast Snowmobiling, which is a snowmobile and travel company serving in Maine of the United States of America. So welcome, Sandy, and thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so first off, let's get right into it. I want to learn a little bit more about you, so let us know where you're coming from and how you got into snowmobiling.
Okay, so I live here in Maine, in the northeastern part of the U.S., and I've been snowmobiling since I was 3 years old, and my father was an avid rider. So
Okay.
I was always on the sled with him. So when I was about 3, he'd put me in front of him, and we'd ride around the yard. And then, as I got older, I'd hitch a ride on the back, and, we did more trail riding. I do have an older sister, a younger brother, so we all had to take our turns. And then eventually, we all got our own snowmobiles, and we were able to trail ride on our own. So I've been riding, since a very young age. A lot of experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love hearing about the family aspect of things. So would you say, it was your dad that got you into the sport, and did you, I guess, do that as a family together when you're hitting the trails?
Yes, all the time. We spent many weekends up in Massachusetts and Vermont riding with family and friends. And we had a camp, a couple camps at a few different areas of New England. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
How cool. How cool. That's such a great childhood for sure. So where you said you're in Maine, so tell us a little bit about where you ride now.
So we do ride in Maine, my husband and I, but we do try to get out into another state at least one trip throughout the winter, whether it be Vermont or New Hampshire. Just different areas to explore. I love exploring new areas.
Yeah. I know, again, I think I might have asked you this a while ago, but how often do you ride? Like, how many days do you think you put in a season?
Oh gosh. Well, we try to get out every weekend if there's snow. The last couple seasons haven't been that great. We were able to leave right from our driveway and get on the trail system. But the last couple of years, we haven't been able to do that. So we trailer, usually about an hour or so north or northeast, and we're able to get on with the ITS trails here in Maine. And just hitting the higher elevations is the key. Yeah.
Yeah, as you mentioned, like the last couple of winters, it's the same with us here in BC, Western Canada. The last couple of seasons haven't been that great, but there is snow to be found. It's just if you're motivated.
Yeah. Yep. We find it. Yeah. Wherever we can, we find it, because the season is short.
It is. It really is, actually, when you think about it. Maybe total like 3 months, 4 months maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If we're lucky. 4 months.
Yeah, if we're lucky.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into more about your business. Tell us a little bit about Go Northeast Snowmobiling and what inspired you to start your own snowmobile travel business.
So, Gone Snowmobiling, it's been a dream of mine for a very long time. It's an informational website and social media platform about snowmobiling here in the Northeast. This is a one-stop shop for trip planning. So my hope is to empower riders to explore the Northeast with confidence. Maybe even get out of their normal comfort zone. And I also went to college for travel and tourism, so it seemed fitting to combine my education with something that I'm passionate about.
I find that so interesting, and really it's a different avenue, that you don't hear a lot of snowmobile tourism agents. And so when we connected in the beginning, I just thought this was the coolest thing, such a great business model. And I absolutely love it. Just from my own experience planning trips, it can be quite overwhelming, especially in newer areas. So
yes, no, I
really
appreciate
cool.
that because sometimes Google can be very overwhelming. And I just felt that there was a need for a one-stop shop, just a platform where you can find all the information on one website and plan your trip that way.
Yes. Yeah, it's great. So, for those that are, looking to maybe make a trip, what is your website? So, and I'll have the link in the show notes as well.
So it's gonesnowmobiling.com. Yeah, go
Okay.
Northeast. The acronym GONE.
I love that. How long have you had Go Northeast Snowmobiling?
Oh, probably it's been a couple years. I originally started out with just doing some social media on Facebook, just trying to get my name out there. And then I contacted a web designer because I tried doing it myself and I just didn't have the time or the patience. And she is unbelievable. She's remarkable. So with the two of us, we put together, we had some ideas that we put together of how I wanted it designed. And she came up with this design and I love it. It works, for me. I'm able to go on there and make changes and add things to it. And it's constantly revolving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's as a user or a viewer,
Mhm.
your website is very easy. Like, what's the word?
User friendly.
User friendly. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It really is, and it really you can go into every area. You have everything. Like the amount of resources that you have in there, it's
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Well, thank you. A lot of research. And I'm still, like I said, it's changing. Things change and I'm constantly adding and subtracting, information and yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell how much work
Mhm.
has been put in there. But yeah, no, it's a great website. So for those of you that are listening, I highly recommend checking it out. And can people contact you and you kind of create their trip? Like, tell me a little bit more of that process.
Yeah, absolutely. They can contact me through the website, and I can absolutely create an itinerary for them. If they want to explore a new region here in Maine, wherever, New Hampshire, Vermont, we go as far as New York, Pennsylvania, and northwestern Massachusetts. So I can, make all the initial contacts for them. I could book the lodging, tell them what is in that area for destinations and just anything that, I can help them with, I will.
So if somebody has like a few goals, maybe they've heard of a certain area, you would be able to make that work for them.
Yes. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's,
Yeah.
different areas here, especially in Maine, for instance, the trains, the old abandoned locomotives. and that's usually on someone's bucket list. So I can, I can tell them, what's the best starting point for that, how long it's going to take them, and maybe different guides they may want to contact for a guided tour. So I do have a lot of connections.
Oh, amazing. And actually, that was another question of mine. Here is the guides. Because I know, again, from personal experience, I rather hire a guide to kind of show me where to go. And so that would be something that I guess you could offer or connect us with.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I have some of the information on my website about the guides and how to connect to the main guide website itself, but I do know a few guides, personally, so I can connect with them.
Great. That is really cool. I just love it so much. It just takes the pressure, the stress away, when it comes to planning a trip.
Yes.
In your opinion, why should someone book a snowmobile travel agent like yourself to snowmobile in your surrounding area?
So, stress-free planning. So it takes the stress out of planning the trip yourself, especially, if time isn't on your side. I know a lot of people would love to plan, the ultimate trip, but sometimes it's just not in the cards to sit down and plan it out the way you'd like to. It's expensive. It's expensive sport, we all know, and you only have so much time throughout the season or vacation days to take your trips. And so I try to help you with that, burden of planning that perfect trip. And secondly, I think it's important to support the snowmobile friendly businesses that contribute to the growth of the snowmobile community. So I can help plan a trip for clients and help these businesses thrive at the same time.
Yes, which I think is another beautiful thing that you've done. You highlighted are these businesses within your business. I think, the support is definitely needed there. And you've done some work or promoted, some snowmobile clubs as well, in your area.
Yes, absolutely. Really, those are all listed on the website as well for each region. Because, without the clubs, obviously, we all know, there wouldn't be snowmobiling. They maintain the trails and, they get the donations and they put the money to good use for us to be able to ride.
Absolutely. Okay, I also want to know, you wrote a book, a guidebook, and you're currently writing your second book. Maybe it's even finished. Is it?
It is in the design phase right now. Yes, it's finished. Yeah. So I'll be working with the designer.
Okay. So it's a snowmobile guide. Can you tell us about the process of creating your guidebook, 4 letters, and what motivated you to create it?
So yes, so the second edition, I call it the 2.0. It's the Snowmobiler's Guide to Aroostook County, Maine, and that's the northern tier here in Maine. I'm going region to region, so the process, it's a lot of research. Local insights includes where to stay, where to eat, refuel along the routes, popular destinations in the region, safety tips, repair shops. I've also added new information to the second edition, border crossing tips and locations, and business ads. I have a lot more photography, professional photography in this one. So I'm super excited about this version.
Yeah. Just because I'm from Canada, I want to hear a little bit more about the border. Tell us about that section.
Yeah, so if anyone is interested in crossing the border, you just need your passport and you need the locations that you're crossing over from the States into Canada. And it's easier than you think, as long as you know the proper protocols. And I also have that in my new guidebook.
So, again, just for those that are listening in, and for myself, I'm curious. When you're talking about crossing the border, you're on your snowmobile, so you can actually cross the border on your snowmobile.
Yes, yes, there are quite a few
That
locations. Yep,
okay.
yep, in each state. And you can
Okay.
go right through as long as you have your registration and your proper paperwork.
Okay. I mean, originally I'm from Saskatchewan, so I don't, and I was South Saskatchewan, so I feel like maybe there was a trail system that went over the border, but clearly I didn't know about it. So this is kind of mind blowing for me. It's knowing that you can actually travel through. But you're right. I guess they do probably, oh, what's the word? Patrol areas, and you have to access it, certain areas with a snowmobile. So
Yes,
that makes
yes,
sense.
yes. And if you try to access where there's not a border crossing station, they'll know about it. Yep. You
Okay.
will get caught. And you can get fined and you can actually lose your snowmobile if you do cross
Okay.
over with in the improper areas.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and so just for those that aren't really sure of your location, when you do cross the border, I guess in your area, what province would you be from this? Yeah, state to province. What would that be?
So we can go from Maine to New Brunswick, and we can also go from Maine on the western side up into Quebec.
Okay,
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how can I get to you and like get you to plan a trip for me, so
Well,
I could check out all these areas.
you can fly into northern Maine and Bangor International Airport, and then you can, rent a sled in any of those areas in those regions, the northern regions, and cross over that way. I'm also affiliated with a company called Gray Rock Adventure Tours out of New Brunswick. And so
Okay.
you can go from northern Maine and you can rent a sled and take that over with a guide. And you
Okay.
can ride throughout New Brunswick. So that's something new this year that we're promoting.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Huh. That's, yeah. I don't know. It's just, if you're going to plan a trip, this is how I look at things. It's like, if you're going to plan a trip, you might as well do something like that so you can actually explore the area in a different perspective, in a different way.
Yes.
And it's like a little bit of a challenge and exploring. Ah, that's so cool. Love hearing that.
Yeah.
Real cool. What are some challenges that you have faced as a snowmobile travel agent, especially as a woman in this industry?
Oh gosh, yes. Being a woman in what traditionally has been a male-dominated space has been challenging. I think women are sometimes viewed as being weak, maybe in their riding abilities and their knowledge. I've personally seen skilled women ride better than men over the years, so you just never know. I've also noticed that just because I'm a woman, I'm not taken very seriously. So, since I started going snowmobiling, I think I've made a positive impact on women. That's one of my goals is to empower them to get out there and have fun. Don't be afraid of trying new things. And one of my goals is building a community where more women feel empowered to ride. So that's important.
Yeah, I think you're the perfect candidate for that. Yeah, again, I think that more women should get into the sport, but also take the initiative to plan trips like this, right?
Hmm.
Maybe
Right.
without their partners.
Hmm.
It's such an empower feeling when you're able to do these things on your own, like as a woman rider.
Yes, for sure. And there are groups that get together and I can arrange, women getting together and riding together solely without their partners or the men in their lives. So you're right, it's very empowering.
And so, what are some of your favorite destinations for snowmobiling and what makes them special?
So I love exploring new destinations. However, Western Maine and Western Massachusetts and Vermont are near and dear to me. I grew up with a close-knit family and a group of friends who rode together for many, many years. And we made, special memories together. And, those memories last a lifetime. So every time I go back to Vermont, that same feeling I have when I was younger surfaces, and it's just I love riding in Vermont, in Western Mass when I go back.
How far is that away from you? What's the
So
travel time?
about between 4 and 5 hours, depending on what location. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love that it's like relatively close, you know? It's a bit of a drive, but
Yeah, New England isn't very expansive like the Western states. So you can really get to the border of Maine within a couple hours from where we are, and beyond. 3 to 4 hours or better sometimes. Yeah.
cool. So, I'm curious, how do you balance running a business, snowmobiling, your personal life? Do you have any tips for others looking to do the same?
Yeah. I do a lot. So self-discipline and commitment. Keep your priorities in check, business and personal. And enjoy the journey and don't sweat the small stuff. I've also realized that the original business plan or agenda doesn't always turn out the way you originally thought it was going to. But just you need to stay on that path and ride it out and see what happens. Sometimes good things come to those who wait, and you don't even realize that it's going to be there waiting for you.
Well, that's a good one. Love it. And what advice do you have for beginner snowmobilers planning their first big trip?
So preparation is key. My guidebook includes a section on snowmobile safety. So you should prepare for changes in the weather, dress in layers, carry essential supplies, and let someone know where you're going to be riding, what your route is, and what time you plan on being back. So, you're venturing out on your first ride can be intimidating, but just know your route and let someone else know, what that route is.
Actually, which brings me to the next question is, what are some safety tips that every snowmobile rider should keep in mind when planning a trip?
Yeah, so research that route that you plan on taking. If it's your first time in the area, be sure to plan out the route ahead of time and know how long it'll take you. And it's always best to return before sunset, especially if you're unfamiliar with that, location. If you encounter wildlife on the trail, especially moose, give them plenty of space and be patient until it slips back into the woods. And it's best always to have an escape route because you just never know, because they can be very territorial, as we all know. And, we're impeding on their territory, not the other way around. Mm-hmm. So just know how to handle that when you're out on the trail.
Question for you. Have you ever come across a moose, and what was that experience like?
I haven't, but I've had friends who have. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine who is leading a tour up in Canada, New Brunswick, as a matter of fact, he had to stop and wait there was 2 moose sitting standing on the trail, and there was another party coming in the other direction, and they had to wait 2.5 hours before the moose passed over the trail went back into the woods. Yep,
No way.
Because they didn't want to aggravate them, and then for them to turn around and go back, it wasn't worth, before it started getting dark. So They just had to stay on that trail to get back to their original destination. Yeah.
Wow,
So
2.5 hours is a long time to be waiting for the moose. But yeah, I guess what else? What else do you do? Hey,
right.
huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Have you encountered any other type of wildlife?
Yeah, so where we ride, there's always that chance that we're going to see a moose. We have not yet. We have in our vehicles, of course. We live in Maine. But, we see occasional deer tromping through the woods or the tree, along the tree line. You see your rabbits and just your normal everyday wildlife.
Pretty majestic.
Mhm. Yes, it is very.
How has the snowmobiling community evolved since you started, and how do you see it changing in the future?
So, of course, technology. We have GPSs now. We have cell phones now. The machines are faster and they have reversed. So, funny story. The first time I got my first sled with reverse on it, I was at a restaurant with my husband and a friend, and we came out and we had originally pulled in to the parking area where all the sleds were parked. And so we came out of the restaurant and I started tugging on my sled to turn it and to turn it around. And my husband said, honey, and he pressed the reverse button. And I said, oh yeah, that's right. Because I rode all my life without, reverse. We had to tug and pull those sleds and turn them around ourselves and, to get them in the right direction to go the other way. And
Right.
so it took me a while to get used to that, but he always tells everyone that story. And then, of course, the gear and the equipment are state of the art now. We have heated helmets, gloves, the handlebars. So I grew up riding in the dinosaur age. So things have changed and technology, that's just going to into the future. That's going to become more advanced as well. So that'll be interesting to see.
Which brings me to a question. Now I'm going to skip just a little bit here because you're talking about warmer gear.
Hmm.
And you created a video about this, and I thought it was like brilliant. But can you tell us how you keep your feet warm in the winter?
Yes. So alpaca. I love alpaca socks, and I have alpaca long johns and gloves and liners and hats. So they just, they're so good because they wick the moisture away from your body. And I'm able to stay dry and warm throughout my whole ride, no matter how long we're out there riding or no matter, what the weather is. It helps with the wind chill, blocks the wind chill from going right through you,
Right.
you know. So I buy I'll give them a plug because I love them. I buy all my alpacas through Northern Solstice Alpaca Farm here in Unity, Maine. And you can actually go on their website and Northern Solstice Alpaca Farm.com, and you can put in the promotion code SLED10, SLED 10, and you can get 10% off your first purchase if you're looking to try, alpaca socks or gear. So
Amazing. I'll also add that to the show notes so that people can click and it'll be easy
okay,
for them. SLED 10 is the discount
yeah,
code.
yes.
Cool.
Mhm.
There is another tip I remember you saying as well. So with the alpaca socks, you put a plastic bag too.
Yes.
Was it a plastic bag or something?
Yes, so I take a regular plastic bag and I put it over the liners of my boots.
It's the liner.
So, because we always take
Okay.
our liners out and we let them dry if they get damp or if they get wet. So if you put the plastic bag over the liner, put it in the boot, it slips easily into the boot, and then it helps the moisture does not come into the liner and into, where your
Okay.
foot is. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, so when you take the liner out, the outside of the bag is damp, it's wet, and that doesn't seep into the liner. So we just take it out after each ride and hang it, hang the bag to dry. And next time we're ready to ride, it's all, nice and dry and warm, ready to go.
Yes, I love the combination of that. When I saw that video, I was like, this is brilliant, so smart. Why did I think of this? Just because my feet get so cold. So love it, and I'll definitely be getting some alpaca socks as well. So
yeah,
that's exciting. I'm curious, what is the weather like there? Like, how cold does it get? Like, what is cold for you?
So cold for us, is 20 degrees Fahrenheit with a wind chill. That's pretty cold.
Okay.
We do have days where it gets down below 20, get maybe 0, and usually there's a wind chill. 30's comfortable, but it's not ideal for the trails. We want the colder temperatures at night and then it to warm up a little bit during the day, but not too much because the machines will run better, obviously, and
Yeah.
it's been warm the last couple of winters, so it's been almost too warm, to ride.
Right.
So we're
Well,
hoping, yeah.
I'm just gonna Google because I don't know Fahrenheit. So
Oh,
20 degrees fair.
yeah, and I don't know Celsius, so
Right. Okay. So that is 20 degrees Fahrenheit. For those that run Celsius, it's -6. And then you're saying 0. I'm curious what 0 would be. Okay, so 0 Fahrenheit is -17, or I guess if you round up, like -18 degrees. So yeah, that's chilly for sure. And then
yeah,
a wind chill on top of that.
yeah.
So I'm sure you have all the tips and tricks as far as staying warm.
hmm
Do you have heated gear? Like, do you have heated helmets?
Yes,
Anything like
yeah.
that?
Heated handlebars, or grips, heated helmet. That's about it. I mean, I layer a lot, so I'm not fashionable at all. My goal is to dress in layers and stay warm and dry. That's my goal. So, my base layer is usually polyester, silk, long johns, those synthetic layers. No cotton though, because I think we all know cotton. If you sweat, you're going to be freezing for the rest of the day. And then I usually put like a fleece layer, a mid layer for protection and insulation to trap the body heat in without sweating. And then I have my jacket and my bibs, waterproof and, windproof. A lot of my gear is Gore-Tex. And I think they make much of the gear, Gore-Tex now. Many of your jackets and bibs and such. And yeah, so I just, layer up with my baklava underneath my helmet, keep my neck warm, and my feet I don't have to worry about my feet because I have my alpaca socks and I have my Baffin boots, which I love. Like walking on air, I love my boots. So it's whatever makes you comfortable. Just be sure to layer because when the sun does come out in the afternoon, like it does here a lot of times in Maine, it can really, warm up quite a bit. And so just taking off that extra mid layer makes a big difference. And then you can, I just have a jacket that I fold up and I put it in my gear, my bag. And when it starts getting chillier later on in the afternoon or early evening, you can throw it back on. Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I know, again, I run cold. A lot of us run cold. So it's just nice to hear what other people wear because then it, gives us ideas or gives me ideas too. It's like, how can I stay warmer? And I don't know if it's like I feel, again, I'm getting to an age where I'm getting cold. Like everything's cold. Like I live for winter, but holy moly, it's getting harder and harder for me to stay outside longer. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, this is great. It's been great to hear your advice. Okay, so because we just talked about your gear, how you layer, I'm curious, have you done any modifications to your snowmobile?
No, I haven't actually. I ride a 2017 Arctic Cat 600, and I love how it handles both on the goat trails and the wide open trails here in Maine. And I really don't have any complaints at all. I love my snowmobile. Um, I tell people that I grew up Skidoo and I married Arctic Cat. So, when my husband and I were looking at new sleds this time around, and he said, let's look at cats, I was reluctant. And I said, no, I really want a Skidoo. And he said, come on, just let's go look at the cats. And I did. And they had two right there on the floor at the dealership. And I sat on it and I loved it. I didn't even ride it yet. And then when we brought him home and we were riding around the yard, I was like, yeah, I can get used to this. And he often talks about, you sure do you want to trade him in? It's been a few years already. I'm like, nope, I love my cat. So
Yeah. Well, it's when you find something that fits,
yes,
it's like it just makes the experience so much better.
for sure. I love how it handles
Yeah.
and I'm so comfortable on it and no complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm curious when you're going out for like a big day or maybe even like doing an overnight stay or anything like that. Do you have, this is a silly question, but do you have bags on your tunnels? How do you carry your gear or like extra clothing, extra food? Are you wearing backpacks or do you have everything, in a bag on your tunnel, that sort of thing?
Yep. We have everything up in our bags on the tunnel. And
Yeah.
I have a special diet. So, I pack our lunch every morning. We usually stay at an Airbnb, so with a kitchen or a cabin with a kitchenette, and we go shopping when we get there. And then we pack everything for our lunch or snacks and anything to hold us over for the day. If we, we always plan on stopping at a restaurant along the way, just to get in and warm up and get a hot meal. But sometimes things happen, and sometimes that doesn't happen. And so I always pack just in case, that extra food and extra gear. I always bring extra layers, an extra pair of gloves. We bring extra drinks with us. Hydration, hydrated like water with electrolytes in it, so we stay hydrated throughout the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's super smart. And then I'm curious, have you had any injuries from sledding? And if so, what were they? And how long was your recovery time?
So, knock on wood, no injuries. All the years I've been riding. And, I did have one close call once. So I was just going through the bunny trail, poodling along, and I had a branch get caught in the ski. And so it catapulted the sled up into a very small tree. And so the sled went one way, I went the other. I wasn't seriously hurt at all. And the sled did have some front end damage, but nothing major. And I was able to ride it back to camp. But no, I've been lucky. Yeah.
Great. That's so good to hear. Have you had anyone or maybe yourself in your group that had a broken down sled? And if so, did you or your group wrench on it or did you have to tow it back? I'm just curious about like any experiences like that.
There have been times where we had to, tow someone for one reason or another.
Right.
We were riding, my husband and I were riding with a friend one day on his property, and there was a pretty large pond or lake, and we were following along, and we were following him, and he was confident that it was frozen. And lo and behold, it was not frozen. He went in to drink, and thank God it wasn't very deep. So the sled did sink, and we were able to pull him back to shore. We threw a
Nice.
line out to him. So that's why we keep all that gear in the sled just in case. And so he got out, and he had to have, company come the next day and get the sled out. And
Wow.
obviously, there's a lot of repair work to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you or if he or she retrieved their sled out of
Yes, he
this
did
water.
the next
Yeah.
day. Yep. And, he wanted to get it out before it did freeze over for good.
Yeah.
And then he was fine, just a little shook up. And my husband and I ended up with the next day, we ended up with the flu. So I don't know if it was just ironic that we were coming down with the flu, but we were out in the cold that day or that night. It was in the evening. So it was freezing that
Right.
night. And we did help him
Oh,
get back to shore and everything, but we ended up getting sick.
oh no. Uh, some sometimes I feel like if we overexert ourselves, and maybe
Hmm.
that like your adrenaline was going, you were
Yeah.
doing everything that you could to get your buddy out of there. Sometimes I find like the next day my body just releases some toxins and then I'm like feeling run down or something. And like you said, maybe with the cold, all of that combined, your body's
Yeah.
like, okay, no more. I need
Right.
rest.
Yeah. And it was a scary situation, but it all
Yeah.
was all worked out.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Oh, that would have been a very scary situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man. And I'm curious, after a big snowmobile trip, what do you do for self-care to rest, recover, relax, reset, that sort of thing?
I'm pretty much very active person. It's difficult for me to slow down. Um, but I do hydrate my body before riding, and I start actually a couple days ahead of time. I get
Oh,
dehydrated very quickly, especially when the air is dry in the winter. So I'll start drinking a lot of electrolyte water, and really hydrate myself days before the trip. So when I'm out on the
okay.
trail, I continue to hydrate myself. And then when we get back to camp or back to the Airbnb or cabin, I feel good. I really don't have any issues. Get back early enough, kick our feet up, just relax, watch some TV, hang out with friends, and
Perfect.
get ready for the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really sounds perfect.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, you go away for the purpose to ride. And so you just really want to relax, have a little bit R&R, rejuvenate yourself, and be ready for the next day to be able to ride, because that's the reason why you're there.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely. Do you find that you get sore like for the next day?
the
Like,
first ride,
how's your body
yes.
feeling?
Yep. Yep. Because you're not using those muscles all year long. And so probably after the first ride or two, a little bit sore, but I take a lot of supplements and stuff I've had a broken elbow before, so I take a lot of vitamins and vitamin D and such. So yeah, my muscles are yeah, in pretty good shape for my age.
Good. Great. That's awesome. And I am actually, yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the hydration aspect of it. And do you know, like, when you say electrolytes, and I know they've been around for a while, but what is something that, or what's the brand that you're taking, or do you recommend a certain brand for electrolytes?
Well, I actually have a bottle right here. So
Okay.
Core. Yep. I
Okay.
drink Core. At least I drink one of these a day. at
Okay.
least. Like I said, I need that extra hydration. And
Mm-hmm.
I also sometimes add some electrolyte powder. I use a brand called doTERRA from doTERRA Oils. So I'll add that to the water sometimes when it's really hot or humid out. And, again, you get very dry in the winter, and sometimes I'll up the ante with the supplement as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, makes a
Yeah,
difference.
that's good to know because I've also just recently, like, I've been chugging so much water, and I was like, you know what, I'm over this water thing, like trying to hydrate myself. And then I was like, oh wait, like kind of forgot about the whole electrolytes side of things. I definitely need to hop on that train because I just chugging so much water to the point where it's like uncomfortable. So it'd just be nice to get something that's like a faster like intake, or at least it absorbs everything better.
Yes, this definitely works. This is the best one I've found. And,
Good.
one a day. It
Yeah.
definitely, and I drink, regular water throughout the day as well. So,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but that definitely does the trick.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
I love it. And what's the biggest piece of advice you'd give to someone looking to combine their passion for snowmobiling with entrepreneurship?
Hmm. Do your research, and find your niche. Do something that you enjoy because life is short and the seasons are short. So it's really enjoy what you do. That's my advice.
Amazing. Okay, so if you were to whisper in the ear of young Sandy, who was just getting into motorsports, what would you tell her?
So don't wait so long to pursue your vision. Um,
Okay.
so I know I started riding at a very young age, and I continued to ride throughout, the rest of my life here. And I would have started this business 10 or 20 years ago. If I had just put my mind to it and I doubted myself, saying this will never fly, this will never amount to anything. Who needs this kind of platform? But come to find out that people do. I just did a trade show this weekend here in Augusta, Maine for the Maine Snowmobile show, and people come to the booth and say, I just want to get out of my comfort zone, and this is great. Now I have information on different regions in Maine, and I'll definitely look at your site. And I love the fact that you have all the lodging and the restaurants listed, and where to find gas, and all the different highlights. And I've been meaning to go here, and I want to see this, and yeah, this is great. So it makes you feel good when you put a lot of time and effort and money into something, and you know that people appreciate it.
What great feedback.
Yeah.
Like you said, you've put in so much time and effort into this, and sometimes we can have that self-doubt or those limiting beliefs creep in, and then it's like, no, I will find these people. And then when you do, it's like, oh, this was
Mhm.
meant to be. Like, this is why I did this, is for this type of person that's looking for, X, Y, and Z. So, I love that. And so,
Yeah.
with this trade show, you were working at this trade show?
Yes.
Or like
Yep.
you
I
had a
set up
booth
a booth.
there? Okay.
Yeah, I had a booth.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. And I'll also be down
Cool.
in Springfield, Massachusetts in November for the weekend and setting up there. So um, a lot of the southern states, Connecticut, Rhode Island, even, southern New York, western Pennsylvania, they don't get the snow like we do up here. So we go, to these trade shows to, tell people about, what we have to offer here in northern New England. So
Amazing. I think that's so cool. And what are the dates for the Springfield one?
this is November 16th and 17th. I think, let me
Okay.
double check. My time is flying by. Yeah, 16th and
Right?
17th of November.
Okay, and I'm just checking my calendar. I think this podcast episode is going to come out November 5th. So for anyone
good.
that's listening in from the States or in your area or that area, definitely check out Sandy. She'll be at, what's the trade show called or this
Sled
event?
Mass. Sled
Sled
Mass.
Mass. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
And they have a website, sledmass.com.
Okay, there you go. How cool. I love that. I love the networking part of things too, and I'm sure you're meeting a ton of people like within your community industry.
Yes, for sure. It's important to get out there and have them see you and meet you and, get to know you. So it's fun. We get to meet a lot of neat people as well.
Yeah, really cool. And then my next question, for those that are thinking about getting into motorsports, do you have any advice to share?
Yes, go for it. Embrace the excitement and don't be intimidated by learning, like the learning curves or the fact that motorsports may be seen as a male-dominated sport or, too technical. So especially for females wanting to get into it. Yep, just do it.
I love it. Just do it. And a quote you live by.
Yes, everything happens for a reason. I say that almost daily. So don't let anything get you down. Keep moving forward and fulfill those dreams. Even if it doesn't work out the way you think it's going to, there's a reason why it did. So everything happens for a reason. Yeah.
Love it. It's so true.
Yes.
That's great. And where can we find you on socials?
So Facebook and Instagram. And then I just started TikTok, which is a huge learning curve for me. But I did step away from Facebook and Instagram post. I am going to get back into it, but I've been so busy getting ready for the trade show and getting my second guidebook out and everything. It's been a lot of work. So I plan on doing some more videos soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I love seeing your stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so this wasn't part of your questionnaire. So I have like some rapid fire questions. Are you ready for them?
I'm ready.
Okay. So imagine this. You and 3 other people have an all-inclusive weekend retreat that involves snowmobiles. It can be anywhere in the world, even if it's real or not. Where are you going and who are you bringing? And the people that you're bringing, they can be like real people that you know, riding buddies, people you don't know, celebrities, etc.
Gosh. So first thing that comes to mind, and of course my husband, and I would love to have my kids tag along. So just another family affair. I love riding with family.
Aw, I love it.
Yeah.
Great answer. The second one item you never hit the trail without.
Oh, you should know this one. My bandanas. We didn't talk about that. Besides my alpaca socks, I've been riding with a bandana all my life. Back when we used to have knit caps, and they used to be very itchy on my face and around my mouth. And so I don't know, just one day just happened to pick up a bandana and say, okay, well, this will be more comfortable underneath the knit cap. And I've been wearing them ever since. And then sometimes when that baklava or that cap, whatever you have across your mouth gets, damp or wet, that's never a good feeling. So I bring bandanas along and I just keep swapping them out throughout the day. So, I have a clean and dry mouth while I'm riding and warm, that's for sure.
Yeah, which is so key. Oh my gosh. Just the dampness around your mouth and then the wind and then it causes rash. Ugh.
Yeah.
Such a good pro tip.
Thank you.
Next question. If you could ride with any pro snowmobiler for one day, who would it be and why?
Let me see. Angelisa.
Oh, okay. Super
I
flattered and honored.
I would love to ride with you. Pro enough.
Aw.
You are definitely on my bucket list.
Oh my God. That just warms my heart. Well, yes, I would absolutely love to. I was actually even thinking, like, how can I get to your area? Like, how can I go and ride with you? So we'll
Yes.
make this happen.
Okay. Sounds
Aw,
good. And I would
aw.
love to come out and see you and, ride with you in your area as well. So on
Yeah.
the bucket list.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that would be the coolest. The coolest time. Aw. Okay, number 4. If you could only, if you could only ride one type of terrain for the rest of your life, what would it be? Would it be powder, slush, or groomed trails, or anything else?
Um, yeah, groomed trails, in Vermont.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I love those goat paths. That's what I was brought
Okay.
up riding, and I just love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw. And last one, best snowmobile memory in one word.
Oh, one word, that's tough. Um,
It is a tough one. I'm like, I don't even know what I would pick.
um, I'm gonna say family.
Okay.
And the reason why is because I have so many great memories with my father. I guess I should have said dad or father because he passed away from cancer at a very early age. So I treasure all those adventures that, we had with him and the weekends up at camp with him. And even the ride up in the truck to get there was special to me. We'd hop in the truck on a Friday night and make the trek up to, depending where we're going, Massachusetts to Vermont, 2 or 4 hours, and just the time spent with him. And then riding throughout the weekend. And so, yeah, those memories I treasure the most.
Aw. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. Oh, thank you for sharing.
No, you're welcome.
Aw. Well, that is all that I have for you today. But thank you so much, Sandy, for coming onto the show. You're such a great resource and such an influential, impactful snowmobiler, and I'm just so honored that you came on and shared your story with us. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for having me. And I just love you so much. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, this was fun. I had such a great time and I learned a little bit more about you, your riding area, and your business. And I know so many other people that are listening in or watching in over on YouTube are going to feel it too. So, yay, thank you. And we're going to make it happen. We're going to get out. We're going to meet. I can't wait to give you a
Mhm.
big hug. Like, yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, we're going to make it happen. Thank you so much for tuning in today's show. Please rate and review this podcast. I would forever be thankful and grateful. Share it with your friends, family, and whoever you feel would enjoy these types of conversations in the dirt bike, snowmobile, and motorsports community. If you are looking to support the show, I do have a few affiliate links in the show notes. And if you're looking for some confidence in the digital space, learning how to brand yourself, edit your epic sends, and just being the vibe, being your true self, your authentic self, shoot me a message. You can reach me over on my website, angelisaedwards.com. And as always, I am rooting for you and keep killing it safely, and I'll see you next week.